morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Monday, the 9th day of June, 2025. It is Monday of the 10th week of the year, the 10th week now in Ordinary Time. But we also celebrate today, since 2018, the memorial of Mary, Mother of the Church. So a couple of things are tossed into this day, which, again, if we're attentive to where Easter has led us, and now where Easter deposits us after the formal conclusion of the season yesterday on Pentecost, we have this feast day, which is interesting, to say the least. So that's one of the big things is to kind of take a look at when we look as we enter into Ordinary Time. So we are in the 10th week of Ordinary Time, and so just making our way, through the rest of the year now that we have passed, through Easter, and we have passed, through the wonder and beauty of what Easter is. But we do not leave Easter, which is important to remember. This is where the whole understanding is that Easter is not something that can easily conclude or should ever really conclude in our lives, because the impact of Easter defines who and what we are, and we must remember that is the definitive act, that is what changes the course of human history. That is what allows us to move forward in faith and in hope and in love, so that we can attain this destiny and this future that God has in store for us. So we leave the heights of Easter, carrying Easter with us into the rest of this year. We have to kind of I'll keep trying to remind us of that as we go through this year and experience everything else that this year is going to offer to us. It still is a very quiet Monday morning here on the campus of St. Francis. Again, our schools are out since last Wednesday, and the preschool even before that earlier. So it's just again moving into summer, and again the heat is the heat here in North Carolina. So anyway, Mary the Mother of the Church, again, Pope Francis and kind of creates this as a memorial on the calendar in 2018. Although JP2 talked about Mary the Mother of the Church, and even Paul VI, I think after the second session of the Vatican Council in 1964, spoke of Mary as the mother of the Church, but there was never anything formal until Pope Francis in 2018. And why? Well, okay, so this is where, again, my own disagreements with this. The church is not born at Pentecost. The church is born when Jesus dies and exhales his last breath upon this earth. Again, if we want the church to be a kind of group or an institution or a corporation or whatever it is, well, then we could say Pentecost did that, because a certain group got the Spirit, and again, they had to make other people again get the Spirit, things like that. That limits the understanding of church. Church is not an institution. It's not an agenda. It's not just a certain corporate grouping. Church, again, is God calling to the world, and the world responding yes to that call. And so the breath of Christ, which again is just exhaled upon all the earth and not just upon certain people, is what defines church and what creates church and has continued to create church through the centuries and millennia that we have been here. But if you're going to take that Pentecost is the creation of the church, well, then have a feast of Mary as Mother of the Church, is the one who kind of caretakes for the church. But again, it gets kind of weird, because is the Spirit supposed to be caretaking for the church? Who's caretaking for the church more, Mary or the Holy Spirit? So there's a whole bunch of things, So, and plus, again, the wonder and glory of Easter, which is talked about love and love and love again and again and again. We are deposited, into this day that honors Mary, which I don't think she'd be happy about either, with a choice of two first readings. The first one is from Genesis, where the man is accused of God for eating the apple, and he blames the woman, and the woman blames the snake, and then the curses, of the snake and of enmity placed between the snake and the woman, and striking at the head and striking at the heel. I mean, happy back in Ordinary Time with such an image kid to follow us into Ordinary Time. Not all that great. And then the other choice for the reading isn't, well, it's not bad, but it's basically after the Acts of the Apostles. After the ascension of Jesus, the apostles go back into Jerusalem, and they're in prayer together with, and it names all the apostles, and then say, and Mary is there. But also Mary and Jesus' brothers. Who are these brothers? Mary, did Mary have other children? What's going on? Acts of the Apostles says it. So both readings do not let us kind of move easily into Ordinary Time, which is maybe a good thing, because again, we are not ever to move back into a normalcy because of what Christ has done in dying on the cross and being raised. So something to think about there. Then and then we have the gospel itself, which is Jesus on the cross again. Again, dying on the cross. He gives Mary to John, and and says, take care of your mother, and then to Mary makes John her son, take care of your son. And again, this whole idea about Jesus giving Mary to the world, okay, great, it's only in John's gospel, but then again, they want to break the legs of those who have died, and they thrust the sword into Jesus' side because he's already dead, and blood and water pour out. Again, that idea of what's nourishing and rebuilding, and renewing and giving rebirth to the world. Again, this blood and this water. Again, talking about the fact that the church being born as Jesus exhales his last breath. So again, there's testimony to my understanding of all of this in the gospel. So whoever's picking these readings, for whatever reason they chose to pick them, has this kind of whole understanding of this. But again, the long and short of it is that yes, we understand our special relationship with Mary, we understand our special relationship with the Spirit. Let both of them, again, guide us, into this year that will follow, these many weeks that follow. 1/4 of our year is given over to remembering, cross, death, resurrection. Let that be something that remains with us, so that again, this church that God has called into existence from all corners of the world by the breath of Christ and by the fire of the Spirit may become something that allows this world to move towards its future and its destiny in peace. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord, as always, give you his peace.